Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about front-end developers and back-end developers. So let's get into it. So the question in question here was a subscriber question. It was a little bit long-winded, so I can't really put it in the title, but it was, I hate backend developers because they are always talking about how easy front-end is and how cool it is to work on infrastructures and scalability and things like that. What should I do? And this question seems to be a bit of a reoccurring theme. I can give you the only answer that I know of, and that is that you suck it up. That's not going to change. It's not going to change anytime soon, dude. I'm sorry to say, it's not. You can, as an individual, prove that you are more than a front-end developer, but a purebred front-end developer who only has an understanding of CSS, JavaScript, and HTML, like these sorts of things, will never, ever, 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 ever be respected by back-end developers who have this viewpoint. Because, I mean, and I want you to know as well, there's quite a lot of developers, back-end developers, who have a great deal of respect for people who specialize in this sort of thing, but you will never ever get this. If they have decided that what you do is trivial, there's no way for you to change that, at least not, because they wouldn't have this opinion if they understood the complexity that goes into it. I mean, the other perspective is, of course, that they're just that good at front-end development themselves that they really do feel like everything is trivial. But guys, I mean, this is a problem that every profession that has some type of that has this kind of culture of something seeming easy. And I mean, a good example is if you work as a designer, how do you think that they get treated by people? Like, some people respect good design, but quite a lot of people think that it's trivial, like, because they make that fatal mistake, which is like the most human thing in the world, and that is that they mistake something that is easy to appreciate for something that is easy to do. And this is very, very, I mean, if you work, I have an old schoolmate who used to work as a photographer. And he explained to me that, because I asked him about what's one of the biggest challenges with your work, and he explained that the biggest challenge is to get the customer to pay for the picture. Because usually a customer, depending on the customer, they won't actually like the pricing that he puts on the images that he produces, and then like they can't understand how a single photo can cost thousands of dollars. Or rather, well, thousands of like hundreds of years or thousands of years. I don't know exactly what the pricing was, but they were like, you were always charging too much because it's just a picture, right? Well, yeah, it's a picture of the Himalayas, but I actually had to travel there and sit there for 20 hours to just get that perfect sunset picture of the fucking thing. So it costs me quite a lot to just get that picture, and that's something that you can't really, like, people don't understand that. The same thing goes to front end. I mean, if you want to somehow challenge people on this viewpoint that it's, you know, you're never going to get them to respect it, but you can ask them. I mean, if they are belittling you or you feel like they're putting you down, just ask them to write the CSS then, or the JavaScript, if it's so simple. I mean, let's come back to one fundamental fact, and that is that front-end, if it's so easy, I mean, if we just think about it, if it is so easy to do this, why is it that so far nobody has been able to produce a well-working, like a non-trivial front-end project? Everybody, I have never worked at the company or ever talked to anybody who's ever worked with what they consider to be a nice front-end code base, ever. People are very often happy to say that they have certain things that makes it very nice to work on the backend, although the backend is never perfect. I mean, but the same thing is for the front end. I mean, if it's so easy, why isn't it like in a better state? Like, why isn't it universally in a better state than it is? I will argue because, as you kind of probably you're noticing here, it's not the fact that it is easy. It is that they have a mental picture of that it is easy, because it's not in their mind's eye, something that is on par with what they do on the server or what's interesting. I mean, they're not interested, and they're never. I mean, you might as well go and try to get a bunch of football fans to think that ballet is cool. You're just fighting a losing battle here, dude. You are. You're never gonna get people to change their minds about this. It's a matter of it's about them. It's not about you. It's a matter of personal maturity. And if they were to go through the same sort of things that front-end developers do, face the same sort of challenges, they would have an appreciation for it. But if you have people who already have decided just emotionally that this is a bullshit thing and like that it's not tough or it doesn't require any skill, if they have just decided that that's the fact, and they are not open to trying it out, and actually, I mean, then it's basically ignorance. You're fighting ignorance, and there's no way you can fight something like that with logic or anything like that. So I would say that for you should probably focus more on your own emotional security. I mean, if you're looking to get respected by backend developers, there is only one way to get respected. Just as there's only one way to get respected by people who are fanatical about football or whatever. It doesn't matter, and that is to prove them to be either to prove them wrong, and that's very tough, or at the very least to match them in whatever it is that they value. I have myself. I feel very comfortable working on the entire stack, and all of my coworkers and like the people that I work with know that I can produce pretty much. It doesn't matter what it is. I can produce anything, and so can most of them have their own speciality. So, and we're good at different sort of things, but I can produce all the things that I need. So I, of course, get respect in the sort of respect that you might be looking for here. But if you're following along, that kind of is the problem as well. Like, I'm not getting respected because I'm necessarily good at front end. I get respected for the skills that I have. The people who don't like front end, they still don't like front end, but they will respect me for having a deep understanding of front end, and also having a deep understanding of how to do backend development. So basically, that's how you fight something like that. Either you basically deal with it, or you have to get skilled with the backend so that they just respect your skills as a software developer. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you feel frustration over the fact that there's people in backend development who look down on front end and think that it's a bullshit, it's not worth their time, just deal with it. It's not going away. In the same manner as people who like sports and look down on opera or dancing or ballet or whatever, that's not going away either. It's ignorance or a matter of emotional, or it's an emotional decision, and you're not going to change that by just complaining about it. So dealing with it at an emotional level for yourself is a much more efficient way to feel better about it. And if you really do want to put them in their place, make sure, challenge them to do the thing that you are doing. See if they can. Most of them can't, and maybe some of them can, but at least you gave them a chance to prove themselves, to put their money where their mouth is. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can also, as I said, try, if you want to get respected yourself, you're never going to get them to respect front-end, but they can respect you if you prove to them that you are every bit as good at what they do as they are themselves. That's a viable strategy to get some credibility, at least. Have a great day.